Welcome back to NSC's weekly series Spotlight. The Thunder isn't the only thing that's rolling here in Nashville. The boys in gold are unbeaten for 14 matches, in second place in the Supporters Shield race, and have 2 matches coming up this week. We'll talk about all that and more here on Spotlight. Welcome back, guys. Let's talk about Saturday. What a match. If you weren't here, all I have to say is you missed out.
I can't remember life when Nashville was losing games. I can't tell you the last time Nashville lost a game.
It's been 87 years.
It's been, yeah, exactly, right? Month of May, undefeated.
Yep.
Month of June, undefeated. We're into July. Saturday just felt like a culmination of all that anticipation throughout this 14-match unbeaten run, just building and building until a top 3 matchup in the Eastern Conference. It didn't disappoint.
Yeah, I mean, it had the vibes of a playoff feel. It had implications. It had, who is going to push further and further up, not only the Supporter Shield race, but of course in the Eastern Conference. And for me, your biggest stars typically show out in the biggest games, and that's exactly what we saw.
I will say Nashville Soccer Club rolled out this awesome program called Locals Only. So we had a bunch of first-time fans ever to come into the stadium for this game. I mean, what a treat this was for them to be able to witness this from the beginning to the ending. I mean, what a finish. So let's talk about it. Let's first highlight a certain player that I feel like you always want to gravitate towards, Jason Palacios. Talk about his performance during this night, how he helped keep the sheet clean for this match.
Excellent. He has been outstanding since he's come into the starting lineup. Seems like he's taken that position, made it his own, brought a breath of fresh air because he's a type of player that his style, we haven't really seen it over the course of, the history of Nashville when it comes to the center back position. He's able to defend excellently in the channels. When it comes to standing tall to make blocks in the box, he's there. He can cover Jack Mayer when he needs to, and defending forward is a facet of his game that really came to life against Philadelphia, and that is something that any top center back has. And of course, when it comes to big moments, he always stands tall.
3 out of the last 4 games clean sheets for Nashville, which is something that they were trying to shore up a little bit, even in the midst of this unbeaten run. This game is end-to-end stuff in the first 30 minutes. It's looking like it's got the makings of a 3-2 kind of shootout and some big defensive moments. Palacios, Joe Willis with some massive saves, scoreless, and then obviously the turning point coming in the 63rd minute with the red card to Johnny Perez. I feel like when a team is on a roll like Nashville has been in, flying high, free-flowing soccer, scoring goals, one thing that can get overlooked is that sort of resilience and toughness to dig out results.
Yep.
That was on full display on Saturday, going down to 10 men, and the way Nashville was able to become compact and difficult to play against and just pick out their moments. And the only moment they needed ended up being really at the death at the end of stoppage time there. I really felt like this game put on full display that resilience that you absolutely have to have as a contender in this league.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked about the game and the performance at large is that it felt like Nashville. It felt like what we identify with in this city. And that's being very responsible in everything that you need to do, being gritty, fighting, telling everybody, you're not going to just pull up to Nashville and get anything easy. And then at the death, when you get a very clear moment to slam the door shut, that's exactly what happened. So for me, this is a type of performance where everyone in the stadium, everybody watching the game on Apple TV can resonate and identify with the group. And that is one of the most important things when it comes to a team that represents a city and a community.
And we knew that Philadelphia Union was going to come in gritty because that's just their style. Nashville SC certainly matched that. But then being a man down, Jalil, what is that like as a player to keep your composure and continue to manage the field when you're down a man?
Well, typically it first comes through tactics. When the tactics are right and the adjustments from the touchline put you in a position where you still feel like you can succeed, not just being at home, but down 10 men, that's where it all starts from. And for me, BJ Callahan got the tactics absolutely right. Not bunkering down to the point where there was no opportunity to go forward and create a moment of brilliance, but allowing the team to get into 2 banks of 4 and still have support with Teal up top. That, for me, was where the game was won. If you bunker down way too much and subs are too defensive, you have no opportunity to leave the game with 3 points. You're just looking for 1. And for me, that's a huge point of emphasis and evolution with the club.
Yeah, it's just finding different ways to win, right? This Nashville team has shown that at every level. just in the last month, you win 3-2 in New England, a game that's back and forth where you need goals to get out with 3 points. You get the goals necessary. Go to DC United and you grind out a 1-0 win where you really had to fight for it. Long road trip at the end of it with the heat bearing down. And then what we saw here on Saturday, just really having to dig in that moment. And it's right there at the end that you get that break, that foul in the box. And we know Hany Mukhtar, as well as he's played this season, has had some of those issues with penalty kicks earlier. Sam Surridge then became the primary penalty taker. Surridge is on the bench. When Mukhtar stepped up, there was no doubt about it. Past one of the best goalkeepers in MLS, and Andre Blake just hit that thing, a frozen rope, roofed into the top of the net.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that game-winning goal. How would you say Hany Mukhtar has impacted this season?
I mean, better than he has impacted any other season to date, which is crazy to say. If you win the Golden Boot in 2022 and then you're MVP as well, it seems like there's not really anything else that you're going to be talking about. But when you're having a season like he is having, you cannot overlook what he's doing. You can't overlook how he is the main offensive producer on this team, but then on top of that, Sam is killing him. So who are you going to focus on defensively? Are you going to focus on Sam? Okay, Hany going to kill you. And if either of them two are having somewhat of a lull of a night, which we haven't seen in about 3 months, because Sam going to kill you, Alex Will going to hurt you, Palacios going to dunk on you on the back post, and don't let me start to talk about Lovitz off the service as well. So for me, I'm always talking about the group, the collective. It's never one guy. It's never two guys. It has to be the whole team is playing at a very high level, substitutes coming in, not only keeping it baseline, but elevating it, and then whoever's number is called has been having very good games. And that's what we've been seeing for months on end with Nashville.
But sometimes you got to shine a light on that one guy, and that's
right.
Hany. 9 goals, 8 assists on the year, his 75th career regular season goal. Coming into the league in 2020, obviously with Nashville as an expansion team, guys, that leads every player in Major League Soccer since that point in 2020 by a large margin. He's got 75. The next closest, Chicho Arango, with 63, 12 goals back. So it states the impact Hany has had on this league and on this club. And that's the great thing about this season, to your point, is how he is supplemented around the roster, especially with the season Sam Surridge is having. But you know, in that moment, when Surridge isn't on the field, the guy wearing your captain's band, your talisman, there's no doubt that he's going to step up and convert that spot kick.
All right, well, the boys in gold progress to quarterfinals for U.S. Open Cup this Wednesday here at Geodis Park against DC United. Jalil, as a player, the height of the emotions from Saturday is up there.
Yeah.
How do you refocus for Wednesday's match?
It's very, very simple. You just roll into the game. Of course, you analyze exactly what DC United has done against Nashville this year. You look at their run up to the quarterfinals in Open Cup. You're going to look a little bit at their game against Atlanta at the weekend. But as far as the emotions are concerned, this isn't a type of win where you're riding so high in terms of maybe like a playoff win or a League's Cup final or something like that. Nah, these are the types of emotions, the vibes that roll you perfectly into a midweek. So you can go into it where your subconscious is in the right spot. You're not necessarily needing to overthink anything, and I don't see any indication that's going to tell you that the previous game over the weekend is something where if you're not focused at midweek over Open Cup, you're going to be snake bitten. No, you roll the energy straight into the next one, you keep it going.
It's honestly been one of the most impressive things about this team, their ability to just take every opponent as its own challenge. And one thing Nashville has been elite at this season, guys, rematches.
Yep.
6 times they have faced a team for the 2nd time this season, all 6 wins. And now you play DC for the 3rd time this year, first time in U.S. Open Cup. It's a squad you're very familiar with. We expect some squad rotation, midweek U.S. Open Cup match. Some guys will get an opportunity that are hungry to get in there and make their contribution. But make no mistake, this team's pushing for that trophy and looking to get to the semifinal. They've kind of had that blueprint this season on how to beat DC United, and they'll look to apply it again, make some tweaks and changes, which they've been so good at this year.
Shortly after Wednesday, the boys in gold will hit the road and head to Miami to see Messi and friends. It seems like Nashville SC and Miami have had this growing rivalry. Lucas, can you talk to us a little bit about the history of these two teams?
Sure. I mean, obviously, you go all the way back to 2020. That first ever postseason game happens to be against Inter Miami. Feels like there's been at every touch point of this club's history. Miami's right there, right? The League's Cup final in this building. Now, Nashville's still trying to get over the hump of beating a Miami team with Lionel Messi in the lineup. And if anybody was worried about a little hangover after Club World Cup, well, that got dashed over the weekend. Messi was incredible against Montreal, 2 goals and an assist. And I mean, he continues to take this league by storm as expected, Jalil. But you go on the road and you look to knock off that Miami team for the first time since Messi came to America. And this Nashville team feels equipped to do that in the moment with the momentum they're currently riding.
Yeah, for me, again, you talked earlier about how did they parlay the energy from the Philly game into the Open Cup match. This is the perfect time to play against Miami. Miami is playing at what looks like their top end level after the Club World Cup, absolutely battering Montreal, scoring crazy goals. This is where you want to test yourself against them. You don't want to test yourself against them when maybe Messi is hurt or he's resting or their form is dipped. No, you want to be able to go up against them when you're flying high, they're playing well, and it's like, all right, let's go, let's do this. And when you talk about the rivalry, oh, I love it. I love it between Nashville and between Miami. It's been brewing. Right? When I think about the two teams facing off, I can't get Randall Leal's goal out of my head from the playoffs back in the day. I can't. So hopefully there's more vibes like that. You know what I'm saying?
All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week on Spotlight. It's a massive week ahead with 2 matches ahead. And let's see if the boys in gold can keep their streak unbeaten. Thanks for watching this episode of Spotlight. You can tune in on Wednesday on Paramount Plus as the boys in gold take on DC United at 8 p.m. Central Time. Then on Saturday, it's Nashville at Inter Miami. You can watch on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV or listen locally on 104.5 The Zone. Thanks for watching Spotlight.